Hello, everyone. I am sorry that my streaming software is doing weird things. I hope that you can hear me. I hope that, sound wise, we're looking okay. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for tuning into another live stream situation. So exciting. I love it. I love it so much. I am drinking breakfast tea today. Oh my goodness, where's my teacup? Friends. So exciting. Alrighty, let me go ahead and pull up chat on my phone. Oh, I love this song. Let's see. Da, 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 bum. All right, let's read Wizard of Oz live. Get my chat going on. Hello, friends. Oh my goodness. Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. Thank you for being here. Hi, Beverly. Yay, I'm so glad. Thank you for being patient with my technical difficulties. Oh my goodness. So, yes, I am drinking some breakfast tea this morning. This is actually straight from India. Super gorgeous. Oh my goodness. We have Nickel Sleepless here. Oh, how wonderful. I'm doing well, thank you. There is quite a bit of a delay, so just be patient in chat. What? Oh boy. I'm just messing everything up. I'm doing well. I just fed the kitties. So they are starting to settle down a little bit. Let's see. Oh, Mr. Mary. Can you see them? There's Pippin. And there's Mr. Mary. Please don't chew my cable. Hobbitses. Good boys. I love you. Had to get the cats in there. Oh my goodness. Whoop. Yay, I'm so glad to be doing this again. We are going to be continuing today reading The Wizard of Oz. I have my giant collection book here. And I just love it. We got quite far on Twitch this week. I believe we are on chapter 11 now. So we have met the Scarecrow, the Tin Woodman, the Cowardly Lion, and they have arrived at the City of Oz strapped on their green spectacles and are ready to journey into the city for the first time. So that's very exciting. I think so, because I've been... Oh, Mr. Mary just knocked my Harry Potter wand. Good job, buddy. I think in the UK, if you didn't watch live and you didn't catch up, then I believe that you are a touch behind. But we are at a very, very exciting point in the book. So lovely. So delicious. I have to not drink this tea too fast because I made that mistake last time. Also, I don't think you can hear my classical music. Let's see if I can fix that. Nope. I'm not sure because I'm streaming on my Mac now and I was streaming on Jacob's PC and I got the background audio to work just fine. So what I might do, I am not going to put the reading together to make my own audiobook, unfortunately. I'm just doing this for fun. And it's really good practice for me, it's kind of interesting because I don't do narration in voiceover. Narration is just not a world that I am in. But it's still a really, really good exercise to like get used to it and get better at it, etc., etc. So good. You know, maybe I could schedule one Twitch stream a week to be more UK friendly time. So we'll see. Aw, so lovely. I can put these live streams in a playlist and you can just let the playlist go if you would like. That could be a solution, mayhaps. Oh boy, the cats are still, well, Pippin's asleep now, but Mr. Mary is still ootin' a boot, so if you hear random noises, it's my cats. I'm working on getting a cat cam that I can, like, switch to when the kitties are doing something ridiculous. Oh, speaking of kitties, we got them a new toy, and they're very, very excited about it. It's one of the, like, clear sticks that has the long felt ribbon on it. And they love it. They go crazy for it, but I wasn't paying attention and I was playing with it too close to my legs and Pippin's little claw got like caught on my leg. And it's now like all puffed up and meh. So let's see here. Maybe I'll play Spotify out of my phone. It's probably going to drain the battery pretty fast. But that way you might actually be able to hear it. So, yeah, stopped it on the phone. Oh my goodness, Mr. Mary, are you trying to dig a hole in that box? Buddy. What are you doing? Oh my good. Oh, I have to like mute this though because that's odd. Can I just like... All right, that's fine. Okay, yeah, kitty injuries happen very easily. Oh, I'm so, so glad. There we go. Can you hear the classical music now? Is this a good hack for the meantime? Lovely. I actually, I made a playlist. Let's see. How do I share? Here is the actual playlist that I'm using if you are interested. There we go. Okay, you can hear it. Awesome. That's so great. Okay, great. You can hear me. You can see me. You can hear the music. We're doing great. All right. I hope that you have a cup of tea, my friends, or something wonderful to warm you or cool you off this morning. I am drinking cold brew, even though it's out of a teacup. All right. How about we start the stream today? I'll pause the classical music. Let's start the stream with a little, a very appropriate music here. I've actually, I stumbled through this last time I was live on Facebook, but I actually practiced it a little bit because it had been a while. So, let's see, make sure this is in tune. Okay, great. So, this is probably the most appropriate song for reading The Wizard of Oz. So, let's give her a go. Oh, I haven't sung it all today. This is going to be super fun. When all the world is a hopeless jumble and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens a magic place. Maybe it's not perfectly in tune, but we're working. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane to a place behind the sun. Just a step beyond the rain. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, blue skies over the rainbow. Dreams really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I? Oh, hi, Sophie. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, love. Yeah, I thought that'd be a good way to start the stream, just like with a little somewhere over the rainbow. I recorded a video of that for the channel a long time ago. we go. There we go. So, for those of you that are joining us that haven't before, we're going to be drinking tea and playing songs and mostly reading The Wizard of Oz. Out loud story time, just like when you were a kid. Yes, I do funny voices. I am a voice actor, so this is really good like practice for me, and also just makes me really happy, and it's just a wonderful positive thing that we can share. This is a book that is in the public domain, so if you want to follow along, you're more than welcome to. We're going to be starting at chapter 11 if you want to go ahead and Google Wizard of Oz and read along with me. Otherwise, you can just sit back, relax, drink your hot chocolate. My cats are knocking things down in my house, so that's good. Whoopsie daisies. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support. I went ahead and I looked up super quick the video that I did. Oh my gosh, how long ago was this? September 2017. It's been almost 2 years. But I just put a link in the chat if you do want to have fun and follow along and all that sort of stuff. Again, there is a bit of a lag in chat, so thank you for being patient. Let's go ahead. I'll put my classical music back on. There we go. Alrighty, we got the classical music going. I went ahead and just popped the Spotify playlist that I'm using. I made this one myself. It's a lot of like French Impressionist kind of stuff, along with some like Chopin in there. All this stuff were childhood favorites of mine. My older sister is a concert pianist, so I grew up listening to her practicing in the house all the time, and it's so magical. All right, friends. My phone might die, but that's okay. Right now playing, this is some Franz Liszt, one of his nocturnes. It's number 3, nocturne number 3 in A flat minor. What a rich key, A flat minor. So lovely. Okay. So friends, here we are moving on to the Wizard of Oz. If you've never joined us before, there are some of the original early 1900s ink drawings in here, which is so fun, and they are always at the beginning of every chapter. So this is chapter 11, The Wonderful Emerald City of Oz. Whoop. I'm getting better at this, maybe. Alrighty. Teacup, you're gonna have to move. I even got, it's coming in the mail soon, but I even got a book stand because I'm sitting at my table now, so I can just like have the book propped up so I don't have to like hold it or look down too much. So I'm very excited about that. Like maybe too excited. It's just a little like wrought iron cookbook stand, so. All right, get cozy everyone, because we are getting into, maybe I should turn the classical music down a little bit. Okay, chapter 11, The Wonderful Emerald City of Oz. Now, please have fun in chat while I'm reading. These are pretty short chapters. So I'm gonna be reading the whole chapter and then catch up on some chat, and we will talk about the chapter and have just like the most fun. So please have fun. Oh, I'm so glad you love The Wizard of Oz. And yes, I'm certainly getting quite professional. I think I finally talked all the things I need to talk. So let's get going. Chapter 11: The Wonderful Emerald City of Oz. With eyes protected by the green spectacles, Dorothy and her friends were at first dazzled by the brilliancy of the wonderful city. The streets were lined with beautiful houses, all built of green marble and studded everywhere with sparkling emeralds. They walked over a pavement of the same green marble, and where the blocks were joined together were rows of emeralds set closely and glittering in the brightness of the sun. The window panes were of green glass. Even the sky above the city had a green tint, and the rays of the sun were green. There were many people, men, women, and children, walking about, and these were all dressed in green clothes and had greenish skins. They looked at Dorothy and her strangely assorted company with wondering eyes, and the children all ran away and hid behind their mothers when they saw the lion, but no one spoke to them. Many shops stood in the street, and Dorothy saw that everything in them was green. Green candy and green popcorn were offered for sale, as well as green shoes, green hats, and green clothes of all sorts. At one place, a man was selling green lemonade, and when the children bought it, Dorothy could see that they paid for it with green pennies. There seemed to be no horses nor animals of any kind. The men carried things around in little green carts, which they pushed before them. Everyone seemed happy and contented and prosperous. The guardian of the gates led them through the streets until they came to a big building exactly in the middle of the city, which was the Palace of Oz, the Great Wizard. There was a soldier before the door, dressed in a green uniform and wearing a long green beard.
"Here are the strangers," said the guardian of the gates to him, "and they demand to see the Great Oz." "Step inside," answered the soldier, "and I will carry your message to him."
So they passed through the palace gates and were led into a big room with a green carpet and lovely green furniture set with emeralds. The soldier made them all wipe their feet upon a green mat before entering this room, and when they were seated, he said politely,
"Please make yourselves comfortable while I go to the door of the throne room and tell Oz you are here."
They had to wait a long time before the soldier returned. When at last he came back, Dorothy asked, "Have you seen Oz?"
"Oh no," replied the soldier. "I have never seen him, but I spoke to him as he sat behind his screen and gave him your message. He said he will grant you an audience, if you so desire, but each one of you must enter his presence alone, and he will admit but one each day. Therefore, as you must remain in the palace for several days, I will have you shown to rooms where you may rest in comfort after your journey."
"Thank you," replied the girl. "That is very kind of Oz." The soldier now blew upon a green whistle, and at once a young girl, dressed in a pretty green silk gown, entered the room. She had lovely green hair and green eyes, and she bowed low before Dorothy as she said, "Follow me, and I will show you to your room." So Dorothy said goodbye to all of her friends except Toto, and taking the dog in her arms, followed the green girl through 7 passages and up 3 flights of stairs until they came to a room at the front of the palace. It was the sweetest little room in the world, with a soft, comfortable bed that had sheets of green silk and a green velvet counterpane. There was a tiny fountain in the middle of the room that shot a spray of green perfume into the air to fall back into a beautifully carved green marble basin. Beautiful green flowers stood in the windows, and there was a shelf with a row of little green books. When Dorothy had time to open these books, she found them full of queer green pictures that made her laugh. They were so funny. In a wardrobe were many green dresses made of silk and satin and velvet, and all of them fit Dorothy exactly. "Make yourself perfectly at home," said the green girl, "and if you wish for anything, ring the bell. Oz will send for you tomorrow morning." She left Dorothy alone and went back to the others. These she also led to rooms, and each one of them found himself lodged in a very pleasant part of the palace. Of course, this politeness was wasted on the Scarecrow, for when he found himself alone in his room, he just stood stupidly in one spot, just within the doorway, to wait till morning. It would not rest him to lie down, and he could not close his eyes, so he remained all night staring at a little spider which was weaving its web in a corner of the room, just as if it were not one of the most wonderful rooms in the world. The Tin Woodman lay down in his bed from force of habit, for he remembered when he was made of flesh, but, not being able to sleep, he passed the night moving his joints up and down to make sure they were in good working order. The Lion would have preferred a bed of dried leaves in the forest and did not like being shut up in a room, but he had too much sense to let this worry him, so he sprang upon the bed and rolled himself up like a cat and purred himself asleep in a minute. The next morning, after breakfast, the Green Maiden came to fetch Dorothy, and she dressed her in one of the prettiest gowns, made of green brocaded satin. Dorothy put on a green silk apron and tied a green ribbon around Toto's neck, and they started for the throne room of the Great Oz. First, they came to a great hall which there were many ladies and gentlemen of the court, all dressed in rich costumes. These people had nothing to do but talk to each other, but they always came to wait outside the throne room every morning, although they were never permitted to see Oz. As Dorothy entered, they looked at her curiously, and one of them whispered, "Are you really going to look upon the face of Oz the Terrible?" "Of course," answered the girl, "if he will see me."
"Oh, he will see you," said the soldier who had taken her message to the wizard, "although he does not like to have people ask to see him. Indeed, at first he was angry, and I said I should send you back where you came from. Then he asked me what you looked like, and when I mentioned your silver shoes, he was very much interested. At last, I told him about the mark upon your forehead, and he decided he would admit you to his presence."
Just then the bell rang, and the green girl said to Dorothy, "That is the signal. You must go to the throne room alone." She opened a little door, and Dorothy walked boldly through and found herself in a wonderful place. It was a big, round room with a high arched roof, and the walls and ceiling and floor were covered with large green emeralds set closely together. In the center of the room was a great light, as bright as the sun, which made the emeralds sparkle in a wonderful manner. But what interested Dorothy most was the big throne of green marble that stood in the middle of the room. It was shaped like a chair and sparkled with gems, as did everything else. In the center of the chair was an enormous head without body to support it or any arms or legs whatever. There was no hair upon its head, but it had eyes and nose and a mouth and was bigger than the head of the biggest giant. As Dorothy gazed upon this in wonder and fear, the eyes turned slowly and looked at her sharply instead. Then the mouth moved, and Dorothy heard a voice say, "I am Oz, the Great and Terrible. Who are you, and why do you seek me?" It was not such an awful voice as she had expected to come from a big head, so she took courage and answered, "I am Dorothy, the small and meek. I have come for your help." The eyes looked at her thoughtfully for a full minute. Then, said the voice, "Where did you get the silver shoes?" "I got them from the Wicked Witch of the East when my house fell upon her and killed her," she replies. "Where did you get that mark upon your forehead?" continued the voice. "That is where the Good Witch of the North kissed me when she bade me goodbye and sent me to you," said the girl. Again, the eyes looked at her sharply, and they saw she was telling the truth. And Oz said, "What do you wish me to do?" "Send me back to Kansas, where my Aunt Em and Uncle Henry are," she answered earnestly. "I don't like your country, although it is so beautiful, and I am sure Aunt Em would be dreadfully worried over my being away for so long." The eyes winked 3 times, and then they turned up up to the ceiling and down to the floor and rolled around so queerly that they seemed to see every part of the room. And at last they looked at Dorothy again. "Why should I do this for you?" asked Oz. "Because you are strong and I am weak. Because you are a great wizard and I am only a helpless little girl." "But you were strong enough to kill the Wicked Witch of the East," said Oz. "That just happened," returned Dorothy simply. "I could not help it." "Well," said the head, "I will give you my answer. You have no right to expect me to return you back to Kansas unless you do something for me in return. In this country, everyone must pay for everything he gets. If you wish me to use my magic power and send you home again, you must do something for me first. Help me, and I will help you." "What must I do?" asked the girl. "Kill the Wicked Witch of the West," answered Oz. "But I cannot!" exclaimed Dorothy, greatly surprised. "You killed the Wicked Witch of the East, and you wear the silver shoes, which bear a powerful charm. There is now but one Wicked Witch left in all of this land, and when you can tell me she is dead, I will send you back to Kansas. But not before." The little girl began to weep. She was so much disappointed, and the eyes winked again and looked upon her anxiously, as if the great Oz felt that she could help him if she would. "I never killed anything willingly," she sobbed, "and even if I wanted to, how could I kill the Wicked Witch? If you, who are great and terrible, cannot kill her yourself, how do you expect me to do that?" "I do not know," said the head, "but that is my answer. And until the Wicked Witch dies, you will not see your uncle and aunt again. Remember that the Wicked Witch is wicked, tremendously wicked, and ought to be killed. Now go, and do not ask to see me again until you have done your task." Sorrowfully, Dorothy left the throne room and went back to where the lion and the scarecrow and the Tin Woodman were waiting to hear what Oz had said to her. "There is no hope for me," she said sadly, "for Oz will not send me home until I have killed the Wicked Witch of the West, and I can never do that." Her friends were sorry, but could do nothing to help her. So she went to her own room and lay down on the bed and cried herself to sleep. The next morning, the soldier with the green whiskers came to the scarecrow and said,
"Come with me, for Oz has sent for you."
So the scarecrow followed him and was admitted to the great throne room where he saw, sitting on the emerald throne, a most lovely lady. She was dressed in green silk gauze and wore upon her flowing green locks a crown of jewels. Growing from her shoulders were wings, gorgeous in color and so light that they fluttered at if the slightest breath of air reached them. When the scarecrow had bowed, as prettily as his straw stuffing would let him, before this beautiful creature, she looked upon him sweetly and said, "I am Oz, the great and terrible. Who are you, and why do you seek me?" Now the scarecrow, who had expected to see the great head Dorothy had told him of, was much astonished, and he answered her bravely, "I am only a scarecrow stuffed with straw, therefore I have no brains, and I have come to you praying that you will put brains in my head instead of straw, so that I may become as much a man as any other in your dominions." "Why should I do this for you?" asked the lady. "Because you are wise and powerful, and no one else can help me," answered the scarecrow. "I never grant favors without something in return," said Oz, "but this much I will promise. If you will kill the Wicked Witch of the West, I will bestow upon you many great brains, and such good brains that you will be the wisest man in all of Oz." "I thought you asked Dorothy to kill the witch," said the Scarecrow in surprise. "So I did. I don't care who kills her, but until she is dead, I will not grant you your wish. Now go, and do not seek me again until you have earned the brains you so greatly desire." The Scarecrow went sorrowfully back to his friends and told him what Oz had said, and Dorothy was surprised to find that the Great Wizard was not a head, as she had seen him, but a lovely lady. "All the same," said the Scarecrow, "she needs a heart as much as the Tin Woodman." On the next morning, the soldier with the green whiskers came to the Tin Woodman and said, Oz has sent for you. Follow me." So the Tin Woodman followed him and came to the great throne room. He did not know whether he would find Oz a lovely lady or a head, but he hoped it would be the lovely lady. For, he said to himself, "If it is the head, I am sure I shall not be given a heart, since the head has no heart of its own and therefore cannot feel for me. But if it is the lovely lady, I shall beg hard for a heart, for all ladies are themselves said to be kindly hearted." But when the Tin Woodman entered the throne room, he saw neither a head nor a lady, for Oz had taken the shape of a most terrible beast. It was nearly as big as an elephant, and the green throne seemed hardly strong enough to hold its weight. The beast had a head like that of a rhinoceros, only there were 5 eyes on its face. There were 5 long arms growing out of its body, and it also had 5 long, slim legs. Thick, woolly hair covered every part of it, and a more dreadful looking monster could not be imagined. It was fortunate the Tin Woodman had no heart at the moment, for it would have beat loud and fast from terror. But being only tin, the Woodman was not at all afraid, although he was very much disappointed. I am Oz, the great and terrible," spoke the beast, in a voice that was one great roar. "Who are you, and why would you seek me?" "I am the Woodman, made of tin. Therefore I have no heart, and cannot love. I pray you, give me a heart that I may be as other men are." "Why should I do this?" demanded the beast. "Because I ask it, and you alone can grant my request," answered the Woodman. Oz gave a low growl at this, but said gruffly, "If you indeed desire a heart, you must earn it." "How?" answered the Woodman. "Help Dorothy kill the Wicked Witch of the West," replied the beast. "And when the witch is dead, come to me, and I will give you the biggest and kindest and most loving heart in all of Oz." So the Tin Woodman was forced to return sorrowfully to his friends and tell them of the terrible beast he had seen. They all wondered greatly at the many forms the Great Wizard could take upon himself, and the Lion said, "If he is a beast when I go to see him, I shall roar my loudest and so frighten him that he will grant all I ask. And if he is a lovely lady, I shall pretend to spring upon her and so compel her to do my bidding. And if he is a great head, he will be at my mercy, for I will roll his head all about the room until he promises to give us what we desire. So be of good cheer, my friends, for all will yet be well." The next morning, the soldier with the green whiskers led the Lion to the great throne room and bade him enter the presence of Oz. The Lion at once passed through the door and, glancing around, saw, to to his surprise that before the throne was a ball of fire, so fierce and glowing he could scarcely bear to gaze upon it. His first thought was that the Oz had by accident caught on fire and was burning up, but when he tried to go nearer, the heat was so intense it singed his whiskers, and he crept back tremblingly to a spot near the door. Then a low, quiet voice came from the ball of fire, and these were the words it spoke. "I am Oz, the great and terrible. Who are you, and why do you seek me?" The lion answered, "I am a cowardly lion, afraid of everything. I come to you to beg that you give me courage so that in reality I may become a king of beasts, as men call me." "Why should I give you this courage?" demanded Oz. "Because of all wizards, you are the greatest and alone have the power to grant my request," answered the lion. But the ball of fire burned fiercely for a time, and the voice said, "Bring me proof that the wicked witch is dead, and at that moment I will give you courage. But as long as the witch lives, you must remain a coward." The lion was angry at this speech, but could say nothing in reply, and while he stood silently gazing at the ball of fire, it became so furiously hot that he turned tail and rushed from the room. He was glad to find his friends waiting for him and told them of his terrible interview with the wizard. "What shall we do now?" asked Dorothy sadly. "There is only one thing we can do," returned the lion, "and that is go to the land of the Winkies, seek out the wicked witch, and destroy her." "But suppose we cannot?" "Then I shall never have courage," declared the lion. "And I shall never have brains," added the Scarecrow. "And I shall never have a heart," spoke the Tin Woodman. And I shall never see Aunt Em and Uncle Henry," said Dorothy, beginning to cry. "Be careful," cried the green girl. "The tears will fall upon your green silk gown and spot it." So Dorothy dried her eyes and said, "I suppose we must try it, but I am sure I do not want to kill anybody, even to see Aunt Em again." "I will go with you, but I'm too much of a coward to kill a witch," said the lion. "I will go too," declared the Scarecrow, "but I shall not be of much help to you. I am such a fool." "I haven't the heart to harm even a witch," remarked the Tin Woodman, "but if you go, I shall certainly go with you." Therefore, it was decided to start upon their journey the next morning, and the Tin Woodman sharpened his axe on a green grindstone and had all his joints properly oiled. The Scarecrow stuffed himself with fresh straw, and Dorothy put new paint on his eyes so that he might see better. The green girl, who was very kind to them, filled Dorothy's basket with good things to eat and fastened a little bell around Toto's neck with a green ribbon. They went to bed quite early and slept soundly until daylight. They were awakened by the crowing of a green cock that lived in the backyard of the palace and the cackling of a hen that had laid a green egg. And that is the end of chapter 11. I do believe that that is the longest chapter we have read so far. I know, the saying that the Scarecrow stood up stupidly all night, it's interesting how some uses of language have definitely changed since this book was published in 1923 originally? Nope. 1900 was the original publishing of this book, was in the year 1900. That's incredible. That was over 100 years ago. How incredible. I know, the Wizard of Oz, he's not very pleasant. But one thing that I do think is just really fascinating is how he appears differently to everyone. And it's almost like how he appears. I don't know, what do you think? What do you think of Oz appearing like as a lady to the Scarecrow and as a beast to the Tin Woodman? It's almost like it seems to me that he appeared as things that others would wish or would not wish to see. Yeah, in the UK, 100 years is definitely not long at all. That was one of my favorite parts when I was in Europe for 6 weeks, was just the architecture and just, oh, that was built in, I don't know, a really long time ago. It really woke me up to just how much of a baby country the United States really is. Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you loved the chapter. Oh, and thank you about the voices. Yeah, I really, really enjoy, obviously. Voice acting is one of my career endeavors. And I just love it so much. I'm even working on a children's cartoon right now. And the main voice that I play is a little penguin, a young penguin lady. But I also do a like super fit spo hippopotamus and a zebra and all kinds of things. So that's going to be launching shortly, actually. I think in September. So I'll be sure to let you all know when that comes out. Thank you so much, everyone. You love that we get the benefit of your work. Do you have a warm-up like a singer? Yes, I do. When I warm up for voice acting, I actually just do singing warm-ups. I found that voice acting and singing are so similar in so many different ways that just having a regular voice warm-up is good. If I know that I'm going to be working in mostly higher ranges or lower ranges, I'll do singing exercises accordingly. But usually when Jacob and I are like driving in the car on the way over, we'll do some singing exercises. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to be doing mostly Pingy the Penguin today, so I'll do higher warm-ups
because she's up here and she likes to bake. And she likes to count shapes, and every episode is a song. So I'm in there singing and speaking in this voice, among many others, so that we can learn to count, learn the alphabet.
It's definitely aimed at preschool to like 1st or 2nd grade, and stuff like that. Let me just send a quick message. There we go. And let me go back. So, yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you loved the voices. Thank you for spending your Sunday with me. I thought it would be fun to hear. Let me pour a little bit more tea for myself. Oh, thank you, Sophie. Voice acting is a really magical art form that I have just found incorporates every part of every like art form, performance art form that I love, because it's all about on the fly like text analysis, obviously character development. It's also a lot of vocal technique, it's a lot of Shakespeare technique, and it's just kind of everything I love rolled into one thing. So that's very exciting, and I love it so much. And like, this is really interesting because I read a lot out loud all the time, but this is really good practice to just like consistently sit down and read a book What do you say we take another ukulele break, my friends? Because that was quite a long chapter. I went ahead and did that. Again, I'm gonna pop the Spotify playlist I've been playing. I picked out all the songs myself. It's all classical music that is, again, like in the public domain, but it's some of my favorite, honestly. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I can find this. If I only had a brain. I used to play If I Only Had a Brain on the ukulele. I can't really whistle though, just as a heads up. This feels like maybe it's not the one. Is this the one that I was using? Maybe. Let's see. With the thoughts, I'd be thinking I could be another Lincoln. You have your videos on my schedule? Oh, Sophie, that means so much to me. Have you joined our Discord? Oh my goodness. Nova's in the house. Hi, Nova. We were just about to take a little bit of a ukulele break. So fun. I love it so much. I was gonna maybe try to play another song from the movie, but I don't know how that'll go. It'll just be fun. If not, I can play something else. But here, let me pop the Discord link in the chat, because I don't think it's going to let anyone else post links, if I remember correctly. Oh, thank you. I know I actually put makeup on today. Thank you, Steve. That's so kind. Alrighty, I paused my classical music here. Let's see. So this is gonna be just kind of... Also, my cat was definitely playing with, like, my microphone stand when I was reading. I hope you couldn't hear that. They're being very silly, but I really need to get a cat cam situation. Oh wow, she's not really in tune. There we go. Oh, raindrops? Like raindrops keep falling on my head? Because I know that song. I played it a while ago. And I'm actually trying to make a little song list so that when I'm streaming on Twitch or on YouTube, I can go ahead and like post a link to a little song list. I used to play this all the time, but I have like simply forgotten. I do not want to play it in F though. No, thank you. Yeah, I can absolutely do that one. Let's see. Gotta turn this way. Hello. Oh, rotation's not on. Wonderful. Still not the most perfectly new. Oh, dang. Let's see. Oh, that's so bad. I'm sorry. I have to take out my keyboard on my phone. Oh boy. The joys of being a musician. All right. If this bothers you, I'm sorry. All right then. It's so much faster. Anyone else have a keyboard app on their phone so they can tune their ukulele on the fly? That still doesn't sound great. I'm just gonna play. Oh, that's so bad. Oh gosh. Do you guys really care? Should I just play? Should I stop trying to tune this thing? I feel very silly. That's a lot better. All right. I have the air conditioning on. It's a little hard to hear. A7 in the key of C. I'm transposing in my head. Aw, you're very kind, Steve. G minor, E minor 7? Aha. C, 2 minor 7 in the key of G is... Let me turn this way. All right. Minor 3, so that's and a D minor 7 is oh no, 2 minor 2 7. I really just need to find it in a different key. I'm usually really good at transposing in my head, but chords, key of G. Why are y'all playing it in F? F is a terrible, terrible key to play this in. See, this is why I need to start practicing the songs that used to be in my rep. we're just gonna try it. Enough futzing around, Miss Mary. It doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah. Raindrops keep falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, G, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I did me some talking to the sun. I said that I didn't like the way he got things done. Sleeping on the job, those raindrops keep falling on my head, they keep falling. But there's one thing I know, those blues they send to meet me won't defeat me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free. Nothing's worrying me. But there's one thing I know, those blues they send to meet me won't defeat me. It won't be long till happiness steps up to greet me. Raindrops keep falling on my head, but that doesn't mean my eyes will soon be turning red. Crying's not for me, 'cause raindrops keep 'cause I'm never gonna stop the rain by complaining, because I'm free. Nothing's worrying me. I can't play the whole instrumental break, but there we go. Yay, everybody, we did it. Sorry about the tuning break, but yeah. I'm a pretty lame dancer. I have a history in like Irish dancing, tap dancing, ballroom dancing, that kind of a thing. So we're just chilling, having a tea party today. conferring with the flowers, consulting with the rain. In my head, I'd be scratching if my thoughts were busy hatching. If I only had a brain, only had a brain. There we are. I'd unravel every riddle for any individual in trouble or in pain. With the thoughts I'd be hatching, I'd be thinking I could be another Lincoln if I only had a brain. Oh, I could tell you why the ocean's near the shore. I think I might be singing this in a different key than I'm playing it. Bleh. Sit and think some more. I would not be just a nothing. My head all full of stuffing, my heart all full of pain. And perhaps I deserve you, or be even worthy of you. If I only had a brain. Hey, there's that one. You meant to be watching another person's live stream, but I'm not going off your live stream until you finished. Aw, thank you. Aw, so lovely. Oh yeah, Nova's hanging out with me today. So lovely. We'll play one more song, and then we'll go ahead and read chapter 12, The Search for the Wicked Witch. So lovely. Let's sing. I have my list written over there, and I should have brought it over here. Hang on one second. Bloop. But I will write down Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, because that one used to be in my repertoire, and then I just didn't play it for so long. Aw, you're very sweet, Steve. Let's see. Jazzy number again. This is Dream a Little Dream of Me. I love it so much. Stars shining bright above you. Night breezes seem to whisper, I love you. Birds singing in the sycamore tree. Dream a little dream of me. Say nighty night and kiss me. Just hold me tight and tell me you'll miss me while I'm alone and blue as can be. Dream a little dream of me. Stars fade, fade, fade. Dang it. Stars fading. That's it. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear, just
dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of me. Stars fading, but I linger on, dear, still craving your kiss. I'm longing to linger till dawn, dear, just saying this. Sweet dreams till sunbeams find you. Sweet dreams that leave all worries behind you. But in your dreams, whatever they be, dream a little dream of, dream a little dream of, dream a little dream of me.
You gotta end on a major 7 chord. Am I right? Hey, oh, thank you. You are so lovely. Thank you, Sophie. Thank you, Beverly. Thank you, Steve. Oh, I've never actually seen the movie. I just know it as a jazz standard. So, yeah. Thank you for, suggesting and stuff. My list is growing ever longer. And so I will definitely rehearse if I only had a brain. And, the raindrops keep falling on my head. See, I got it. We're good. Aw, Sophie, you're so kind. I'm so excited. Again, there is a little bit of a delay in chat, so thank you for being so patient. Alrighty, let's go back to reading. Let's get our Spotify classical playlist going. This is a Chopin Nocturne in E minor. Whoopsies. I accidentally started that over and now it's a mazurka. That's fine. Alrighty. Thank you, Beverly. I so appreciate it. Alright, let's have some water. I hope you're having a cozy Sunday, and I hope that I can help with that a little bit. Alright. Let me put my ukulele down before I start reading. How about that? Alright. Chapter 12. The Search for the Wicked Witch. So lovely. You're drinking Yorkshire tea with your meds? Yes. I'm drinking this like Yorkshire style for sure. Fun hack. I have been keeping a jar in the fridge that is almond milk and maple syrup mixed together already. So that way all I have to do is just pour it into my teacup so I don't have to keep mixing all the things. So it's just instant stuff. Yes, the piano though. So good. All right, here we are. Chapter 12. The Search for the Wicked Witch. The soldier with the green whiskers led them through the streets of the Emerald City until they reached the room where the guardian of the gates lived. This officer unlocked their spectacles and put them back in his great box, and then he politely opened the gate for our friends. "Which road leads to the Wicked Witch of the West?" asked Dorothy. "There is no road," answered the guardian of the gates. "No one ever wishes to go that way." "How then are we to find her?" inquired the girl. "That will be easy," replied the man. "For when she knows you are in the country of the Winkies, she will find you and make you all her slaves." Perhaps not, said the Scarecrow, for we mean to destroy her.
Oh, that is different, said the guardian of the gates. No one has ever destroyed her before, so I naturally thought she would make slaves of you, as she has of all the rest. But take care, for she is wicked and fierce, and may not allow you to destroy her. Keep to the west where the sun sets, and you cannot fail to find her.
They thanked him and bade him goodbye, and turned towards the west, walking over fields of soft grass dotted here and there with daisies and buttercups. Dorothy still wore the pretty silk dress she had put on in the palace, but now, to her surprise, she found it was no longer green, but pure white. The ribbon around Toto's neck had also lost its green color and was as white as Dorothy's dress. Here's our friends leaving the Emerald City. The Emerald City was soon left far behind. As they advanced, the ground became rougher and hillier, for there were no farms nor houses in this country of the West, and the ground was untilled. In the afternoon, the sun shone hot in their faces, for there were no trees to offer them shade, so that before night, Dorothy and Toto and the lion were tired and lay down upon the grass and fell asleep, with the woodman and the Scarecrow keeping watch. Now, the Wicked Witch of the West had but one eye, yet that was as powerful as a telescope, and she could see everywhere. So, as she sat in the door of her castle, she happened to look around and saw Dorothy lying soundly asleep, with her friends all about her. They were a long distance off, but the Wicked Witch was angry to find them in her country, so she blew upon a silver whistle that hung around her neck. At once there came running to her from all directions a pack of great wolves. They had long legs and fierce eyes and sharp teeth.
"Go to these people," said the witch, "and tear them to pieces."
"Are you not going to make them your slaves?" asked the leader of the wolves.
"No," she answered. "One is of tin and one of straw, and one is a girl and another a lion. None of them fit to work, so you may tear them to small pieces."
"Very well," said the wolf, and he dashed away at full speed, followed by the others. It was lucky the Scarecrow and the woodman were wide awake and heard the wolves coming. "This is my fight," said the Tin Woodman, "so get behind me, and I will meet them as they come." He seized his axe, which he had made very sharp, and as the leader of the wolves came on, the Tin Woodman swung his arm and chopped the wolf's head from its body, so that it immediately died. As soon as he could raise his axe, another wolf came up, and he also fell under the sharp edge of the Tin Woodman's weapons. There were 40 wolves, and 40 times a wolf was killed, so at last they all lay dead in a heap before the woodman. Then he put down his axe and sat beside the Scarecrow, who said, "That was a good fight indeed." They waited until Dorothy awoke the next morning. The little girl was quite frightened when she saw the great pile of shaggy wolves, but the Tin Woodman told her all. She thanked him for saving them and sat down to breakfast, after which they started again upon their journey. Now, this same morning, the Wicked Witch came to the door of her castle and looked out with her one eye that she could see afar off. She saw all her wolves lying dead and the strangers still traveling through her country. This made her angrier than before, and she blew her silver whistle twice. Straight away, a great flock of wild crows came flying toward her, enough to darken the sky. And the Wicked Witch said to the King Crow,
"Fly at once to the strangers, pick out their eyes, and tear them to pieces.
The wild crows flew in one great flock towards Dorothy and her companions. When the little girl saw them coming, she was afraid. But the Scarecrow said, "This is my battle, so lie down beside me and you will not be harmed." So they all lay upon the ground except the Scarecrow, and he stood up and stretched out his arms. And when the crows saw him, they were frightened, as these birds are always by scarecrows, and did not dare come any nearer. But the King Crow said, "It is only a stuffed man. I will peck his eyes out." The King Crow flew at the Scarecrow, who caught it by the head and twisted its neck until it died. And then another crow flew at him, and the Scarecrow twisted its neck also. There were 40 crows, and 40 times the Scarecrow twisted a neck, until at last all were lying dead beside him. Then he called his companions to rise, and again they went upon their journey. When the Wicked Witch looked out again and saw all her crows lying in a heap, she got into a terrible rage and blew 3 times upon her silver whistle. Forthwith there was heard a great buzzing in the air, and a swarm of black bees came flying towards her. Go to the strangers and sting them to death," commanded the witch, and the bees turned and flew rapidly until they came to where Dorothy and her friends were walking. But the woodman had seen them coming, and the Scarecrow had decided what to do. "Take out my straw and scatter it over the little girl and the dog and the lion," he said to the woodman, "and the bees cannot sting them." This the woodman did, and as Dorothy lay close beside the lion and held Toto in her arms, the straw covered them entirely. The bees came and found no one but the woodman to sting, so they flew at him and broke off their stings against the tin, without hurting the woodman at all. And as the bees cannot live when their stings are broken, that was the end of the black bees, and they lay scattered thick about the woodman like little heaps of fine coal. Then Dorothy and the lion got up, and the girl helped the Tin Woodman put the straw back into the Scarecrow again until he was as good as ever. So they started upon their journey once more. The Wicked Witch was so angry when she saw her black bees in a little heap like fine coal that she stamped her foot and tore her hair and gnashed her teeth. And then she called a dozen of her slaves, who were the Winkies, and gave them sharp spears, telling them to go to the strangers and destroy them. The Winkies were not a brave people, but they had to do as they were told, so they marched away until they came near to Dorothy, and then the lion gave a great roar and sprang towards them, and the poor Winkies were so frightened that they turned and ran back as fast as they could. When they returned to the castle and the Wicked Witch beat them well with a strap, she sent them back to their work, after which she sat down to think what she should do next. She could not understand how all her plans to destroy these strangers had failed, but she was a powerful witch, as well as a wicked one, and she soon made up her mind how to act. There was in her cupboard a golden cap, with a circle of diamonds and rubies around it. This golden cap had a charm. Whoever owned it could call 3 times upon the winged monkeys, who would obey any order they were given. But no person could command these strange creatures more than 3 times. Twice already the Wicked Witch had used the charm of the cap. Once was when she had made the Winkies her slaves and set herself to rule over their country. The winged monkeys had helped her do this. The second time was when she fought against the great Oz himself and driven him out of the land of the West. The winged monkeys had also helped her in doing this. Only once more could she use this golden cap, for which reason she did not like to do so until all her other powers had been exhausted. But now that her fierce wolves and her wild crows and her stinging bees were gone, and her slaves had been scared away by the cowardly lion, she saw there was only one way left to destroy Dorothy and her friends. So this is a rather longer chapter, so why don't we take a little break to chat here. I see that you guys have been going in the chat with each other, which is so lovely. Yay, music and stories. I'm so glad that you are loving the book, Nova. That means so much. It is obviously quite fantastical and also a little bit darker than the movie, I would say. Aw, thank you, Sophie. You're all lovely. I definitely think that's part of the reason why I love performance and especially voiceover is you're just like a kid in a sandbox. You're just having fun. And I love that. I love that so very much. And I'm so glad that you're enjoying it and that I can share it with you. But I don't know about you. If there were like 40 wolves or 40 crows or a bunch of black bees, I would be scared. I would definitely be scared. Yes, it got very dark, very quick. But how would you have reacted if you saw that coming at you? Now, granted, I would say you'd have our whole gang of friends with you. I'm putting the Spotify playlist I'm using in the chat if you'd like. And a link for our Discord if you have not joined yet. I wonder which would have scared me the most. It's between the wolves and the bees for me. And my loves, if you want to support positive tea parties like this, I have my Patreon. I'm gonna pop that in the chat right now. So I've got the music playlist, my Discord, my Patreon. Aww, I'm glad that you like the voices. I wasn't sure if that was gonna be a popular choice. But I really love it and I decided to just go for it. So, you would have ran away. Yeah, I know, right? But it just goes to show, we were talking about this on Twitch last stream, but the whole party, it really in the book shows that everyone really has everything that they need already. Like the Scarecrow is clearly the smartest of the bunch. The Tin Woodman is clearly the most compassionate. The Lion is clearly the bravest. And it's just interesting when they're faced with all these different sort of trials and tribulations, as it were. Each of their talents comes through. And I just love that. I love how it's always a balance of everyone using their strengths, like the Lion scaring the Winkies away, the Scarecrow scaring off the crows, the Tin Woodman with the wolves. And for those of you that missed our last Twitch stream, we had a bit of backstory for the Tin Woodman that was left out of the movie, which is, it's really quite sad. He was in love with a young, beautiful Munchkin girl, but the girl lived with her wicked grandmother or aunt, and she wanted the girl to live with her forever to do all of the housework because she just wanted to sit around all day and do nothing. So she wanted to marry the Tin Woodman, and she said, "Build me a house and then I will be your bride." So the Tin Woodman was set off right away, skillfully. He was actually like a human or a munchkin at this time, and he was chopping away in the woods happily to make a house for the love of his life. And the evil aunt made a deal with the Wicked Witch, and she said, "I don't want her to marry this guy, this man." So the Wicked Witch enchanted the Tin Woodman's axe to chop off his different parts of his body one by one, and he had them replaced one by one with tin from the local tinner. And It was like first an arm, then a leg, then the other arm, and then finally everything was made of tin except for his torso. And when the witch enchanted the axe for a last time, it chopped his torso right into his heart. And he got made a body of tin, but his love for the Munchkin girl all of a sudden turned into indifference because he didn't have a heart anymore. So he didn't really care one way or the other if they had a house. He continued to build but got caught in a rainstorm, and it had been years since anyone had come around to help him with an oil can. So that's where we met the Tin Woodman. So it's so sad. You'll be signing up to be a wizard for sure. And we have the gifts we need in life, but often we compare ourselves to one another and forget what we bring to the table. Yeah, absolutely. Completely. Oh yeah, when I read these books as a kid, it made me really, really sad. Stay hydrated, everyone. I know the weather is a bit warmer at the moment. I'm gonna have a few almonds, and then we'll finish the chapter. And then we've been going for almost 2 hours already, so I would say that would be a good time to stop. I'll do like a parting farewell song. In the movies, they kind of just skip right ahead to the flying monkeys. Pour a little bit more tea. Alrighty, everybody. Let's continue on with Chapter 12, The Search for the Wicked Witch. Okay, so as a brief recap, just before this, the Wicked Witch decided she was going to use her golden cap to summon, for the last time that she could, the winged monkeys to go and destroy Dorothy and her friends. So the Wicked Witch took the golden cap from her cupboard and placed it upon her head. Then she stood upon her left foot and said slowly, oh man,
Ippe pepe kake.
Next, she stood upon her right foot and said, Hilo holo hello. And after she stood upon both feet and cried in a loud voice, Zizzy zoozy zik. Now the charm began to work. The sky darkened and a low rumbling sound was heard in the air. There was a rushing of many wings, a great chattering and laughing, and the sun came out of the dark sky to show the Wicked Witch surrounded by a crowd of monkeys, each with a pair of immense and powerful wings on his shoulders. One, let's see. One, much bigger than the others, seemed to be their leader. He flew close to the witch and said, You have called us for the third and last time. What do you command?
Go to the strangers who are within my land and destroy them all, except the lion, said the Wicked Witch. Bring that beast to me, for I have a mind to harness him like a horse and make him work.
Your commands shall be obeyed, said the leader, and then, with a great deal of chattering and noise, the winged monkeys flew away to the place where Dorothy and her friends were walking. Some of the monkeys seized the Tin Woodman and carried him through the air until they were over a country thickly covered with sharp rocks. Here they dropped the poor woodman, who fell a great distance to the rocks, where he lay so battered and dented that he could neither move nor groan. Others of the monkeys caught the Scarecrow, and with their long fingers pulled out all the straw out of his clothes and head. They made his hat and boots and clothes into small bundles and threw it onto the top branches of a tall tree. The remaining monkeys threw pieces of stout rope at the lion and wound many coils about his body and heads and legs, until he was unable to bite or scratch or struggle in any way. Then they lifted him up and flew away with him to the witch's castle, where he was placed in a small yard with a high iron fence around it, so that he could not escape. But Dorothy they did not harm at all. She stood, with Toto in her arms, watching the sad fate of her comrades and thinking it would soon be her turn. The leaner of the winged monkeys flew up to her, his long, hairy arms stretched out and his ugly face grinning terribly. But he saw the mark of the good witch's kiss upon her forehead and stopped short, motioning the others not to touch her. "We dare not harm this little girl," he said to them, "for she is protected by the power of good, and that is greater than the power of all evil. All we can do is carry her to the castle to the Wicked Witch and leave her there." So, carefully and gently, they lifted Dorothy in their arms and carried her swiftly through the air until they came to the castle, where they set her down upon the front doorstep. Then the leader said to the witch, "We have obeyed you as far as we were able. The Tin Woodman and the Scarecrow are destroyed, and the lion is tied up in your yard. The little girl we dare not harm, nor the dog she carries in her arms. Your power over our band is now ended, and you will never see us again." Then all the winged monkeys, with much laughing and chattering and noise, flew into the air and were soon out of sight. The Wicked Witch was both surprised and worried when she saw the mark on Dorothy's forehead, for she knew well that neither the winged monkeys nor she herself dare hurt the girl in any way. She looked down at Dorothy's feet and, seeing the silver shoes, began to tremble with fear, for she knew what a powerful charm belonged to them. At first, the Wicked Witch was tempted to run away from Dorothy, but she happened to look into the child's eyes and saw how simple the soul behind them was, and that the little girl did not know of the wonderful power the silver shoes gave her. So the Wicked Witch laughed to herself and thought, "I can still make her my slave, for she does not know how to use her power." Then she said to Dorothy harshly and severely, "Come with me and see that you mind everything I tell you, for if you do not, I will make an end of you, as I did the Tin Woodman and the Scarecrow." Dorothy followed her through many of the beautiful rooms in her castle until they came to the kitchen, where the witch bade her clean the pots and kettles and sweep the floor and keep the fire fed with wood. Beverly, thank you so very much for joining us tonight. Enjoy Peaky Blinders. I did watch the first season. It was delightful. Thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Dorothy went to work meekly, with her mind made up to work as hard as she could, for she was glad the Wicked Witch had decided not to kill her. With Dorothy hard at work, the witch thought she would go into the courtyard and harness the Cowardly Lion like a horse. It would amuse her, she was sure, to make him draw her chariot whenever she wished to go to drive. But as she opened the gate, the lion gave a loud roar and bounded at her so fiercely that the witch was afraid and ran out and shut the gate again. "If I cannot harness you," said the witch to the lion, speaking through the bars of the gate, "I can starve you. You shall have nothing to eat until you do as I wish." So after that, she took no food to the imprisoned lion, but every day she came to the gate at noon and asked, "Are you ready to be harnessed like a horse?" And the lion would answer, "No, if you come in this yard, I will bite you." The reason the lion did not have to do as the witch wished was that every night while the woman was asleep, Dorothy carried him food from the cupboard. After he had eaten, he would lie down on his bed of straw, and Dorothy would lie beside him and put her head on his soft, shaggy mane while they talked of their troubles and tried to plan a way to escape. But they could find no way to get out of the castle, for it was constantly guarded by the Yellow Winkies, who were slaves of the Wicked Witch, and too afraid of her to not do as she told them. The girl had to work hard during the day, and often the witch threatened to beat her with the same old umbrella she always carried in her hand. But, in truth, she did not dare strike Dorothy because of the mark upon her forehead. The child did not know this, and was full of fear for herself and Toto. Once the witch struck Toto a blow with her umbrella, and the brave little dog flew at her and bit her leg in return. The witch did not bleed where she was bitten, for she was so wicked that the blood in her had dried up many years before. Dorothy's life became very sad as she grew to understand that it would be harder than ever to get back to Kansas and Aunt Em again. Sometimes she would cry bitterly for hours, with Toto sitting at her feet and looking into her face, whining dismally to show how sorry he was for the little mistress. Toto did not really care whether he was in Kansas or the land of Oz, so long as Dorothy was with him, but he knew the little girl was unhappy, and that made him unhappy too. Now the Wicked Witch had a great longing to have for her own the silver shoes which the girl always wore. Her bees and her crows and her wolves were lying in heaps and drying up, and she had used all her power of the golden cap. But if she could get a hold of the silver shoes, they would give her more power than all the other things that she had lost. She watched Dorothy carefully to see if she ever took off her shoes, thinking she might steal them. But the child was so proud of her pretty shoes that she never took them off, except at night when she took her bath. The witch was too much afraid of the dark to dare go into Dorothy's room at night and take the shoes. And her dread of water was greater than her fear of the dark, so she never came near when Dorothy was bathing. Indeed, the old witch never touched water, nor ever let water touch her in any way. But the wicked creature was very cunning, and she finally thought of a trick that would give her what she wanted. She placed a bar of iron in the middle of the kitchen floor, and then by her magic arts made the iron invisible to human eyes, so that when Dorothy walked across the floor, she stumbled over the bar, not being able to see it, and fell at full length. She was not much hurt, but in her fall, one of the silver shoes came off, and before she could reach it, the witch had snatched it away and put it on her own skinny foot. The wicked woman was greatly pleased at the success of her trick, for as long as she had one of the shoes, she owned half the power of their charm, and Dorothy could not use it against her, even had she known to do so. The little girl, seeing she had lost one of her pretty shoes, grew angry and said to the witch, "Give me back my shoe." "I will not," retorted the witch, "for it is now my shoe and not yours." "You are a wicked creature," said Dorothy. "You have no right to take my shoe from me." "I shall keep it just the same," said the witch, "for it is now, said the witch, laughing at her, "and some day I shall get the other one from you too." This made Dorothy so very angry that she picked up a bucket of water that stood near and dashed it over the witch, wetting her from head to foot. Instantly, the wicked woman gave a loud cry of fear, and then, as Dorothy looked at her in wonder, the witch began to shrink and fall away.
See what you have done, she screamed. In a minute I shall melt away.
I'm very sorry indeed, said Dorothy, who was truly frightened to see the witch actually melting away like brown sugar before her very eyes.
Didn't you know water would be the end of me?
Asked the witch in a wailing, despairing voice. Of course not, answered Dorothy. How should I?
Well, in a few minutes I shall be all melted, and you will have the castle to yourself. I have been wicked in my day, but I never thought a little girl like you would ever be able to melt me and end my wicked deeds. Look out! Here I go!
With these words, the witch fell down in a brown, melted, shapeless mass and began to spread over the clean boards of the kitchen floor. Seeing that she had really melted away to nothing, Dorothy drew up another bucket of water and threw it over the mess. She then swept it all out the door. After picking out the silver shoe, which was all that was left of the old woman, she cleaned and dried it with a cloth and put it on her foot again. Then, being at last free to do as she chose, she ran out to the courtyard to tell the lion that the Wicked Witch of the West had come to an end, and that they were no longer prisoners in a strange land. And that, my friends, is the end of that chapter. My goodness, what an adventure. Definitely some different twists and turns than were in the movie. I'm really excited for you guys to see what happens next, but we will save it for next time. My next stream is going to be on Twitch this Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's pretty easy to remember because my streaming days on Twitch are also my launch days on YouTube. So you can watch my tea party on Tuesday during the day when that launches, and then hang out with me live in the evening. And then same thing on Thursday. My podcast launches on Thursday during the day, and then you can hang out with me on Twitch at night, where we will be continuing the story. We are nearing towards the end. That was an intense chapter, Nichols. Like, intense. Let's see. Actually, are we... Let's see. How many pages are there? 121, and we're a little more than halfway through, actually. There is a bit more adventure than in the movie. They don't just magically get back to the throne room. They have to fetch their friends first. And yeah, that was a lot. So, what are your thoughts? The witch doesn't even have a broomstick in the books. She just really wanted the silver slippers. The Wicked Witch. Oh, Nico. Oh, Nico is sleepless. I get it. Well, nice to meet you, Nico. Here we go. Yeah, I think that perhaps the Wicked Witch is even more wicked in the books than in the movie. What do you think? It's just it's so scary. Yeah, how cruel that she was gonna starve the lion until he agreed to become her slave. That's messed up. That's messed up, man. That's really bad. Oh, I was like, oh my god, I didn't remember that part. This is a kid's book. That's really mean. Oh my goodness gracious. This tea is so good. Who am I kidding? I'm gonna have another sip. Oh, and yeah, the witch is so scary. Pretty brutal. I agree. For sure. Let me, I'll show you my kitty cat. Mr. Mary's asleep on my couch. There he is. All curled up. What a cutie patootie. I know, cats are literally the best. He's such a sweetie. What a cutie patootie. Can't even. How cute is he, right? He's so sweet. I love him so much. And he was napping nicely while I was reading there. He's such a good boy. Pippin is asleep somewhere. I don't know where Pippin is. But yeah, they're so sweet. And I fed them lunch at noon right before I started streaming. So they're all like cute and cuddly and sleepy. So that's a good thing to plan. Also, before I stream on Twitch, because I stream at 7, I feed them at 6. Oh, Nico. Welcome to the Discord, Nico. I'm so glad that you joined. But yeah, I feed them at 6 o'clock and I start streaming at 7 on Twitch. So they are also fairly chill for that stream as well. So yeah, they are so lovely. Alrighty, well, let me pause our classical music here. Let's wrap up the stream with a little bit more music, shall we? Yeah. Let's see here. I felt bad it took me so long to try to find a version of Raindrops, and then my brain was like, what's transposing even? Oy vey. Alright. How about I play an original song? Would you like that? I don't have too many original songs, but... Oh, Canna, by the way. Oh, lovely. Oh, that's so wonderful. Welcome to the Tea Time fam. I love the Tea Time fam. It's just like such lovely people and just so wonderful. I love it so much. It's so lovely. Here we go. All right, so let's play a super chill original one. I think the only one that has heard this is Nova. This is called Socks and Shoes, and it's a fun one. Bloop. cats really like it when I play and sing.
Sometimes when I look down at my bare feet on the ground, I'm afraid to take a step into the sun. But I got nothing to lose except my socks and all my shoes. Take a breath, take a step, have some fun, and roll down the hill like old Jack and Jill. And if you fall down, pick that pail up off the ground. If you go make things happen, they will. When I heard that people fall, I slowed down to a crawl. Protect your neck, your thoughts, your head, your heart. Then tears rolled down my face. Thought I'd never leave this place. How did I get here? You used to be so smart. Just roll down the hill like old Jack and Jill. And if you fall down, pick that pail up off the ground. If you go make things happen, they will. But I got so many dreams that I'm bursting at the seams. I'm determined to live. I'm not gonna give up. 'Cause I got nothing to lose except my socks and all my blues. Just go before you're ready. Here it comes. Just roll down the hill like old Jack and Jill. And if you fall down, pick that pail up off the ground. If you go make things happen, just go make things happen. If you go make things happen, they will.
Hey, there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. I wrote that a couple years ago. I kind of forgot that I write music. And I was like, you know what? I should pull these out again. Actually inspired by Shinova, who's in the chat, which... Oh, did you just hear my cat? Pippin, honey, BB. Yes, sweetie pie. Miss Nova just launched a music video this week for her new single, which, if you haven't seen it, there that is. Oh, thank you so much, Nico. So the link I just put in the chat is for Nova's new music video. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. But she's a marvelous songwriter, and she streams on Twitch as well. You can find her all the places: Shinova, Spotify, all the good stuff. Go show her some love. She's really, really phenomenal. And I was like, you know what? You've inspired me. I'm gonna dig out those songs that I wrote forever ago, and I'm gonna play them, which is lovely. So I'm gonna do one more song before we go, and I'm wondering if I should do like an Irish song, or if I should do another original, or if I should do another like folk. So a folk, an Irish song, or an original song. I don't know which to do. So yummy. I actually made the mistake recently of having just too much of this tea. And I was like, oh, I'm over caffeinated. That's a problem. Or I could, of course, Irish is your vote. The other option is I could also, like, I did play Somewhere Over the Rainbow to start the stream. I could play Somewhere Over the Rainbow to end the stream as well, if you're feeling that. That's also an option. So, yeah, super fun. I love it. What a wonderful tea party we've had today, friends. I'm so glad. Thank you for joining the Tea Time fam. If you're not subscribed to the channel, oh my goodness, please subscribe. I have stuff coming out all the time. I'm starting to live stream every Sunday, playing my uke, having tea, and reading books. And on Tuesdays, I have my Tea Time with Mary tea party. And this Tuesday, I'm very excited. We're doing another Board Games and Brews, where I match a board game to a tea. And then I have the podcast every Thursday, and then of course streaming. So, okay, that would be cool too. All right, so how about this? Because I'm feeling it today. I'm in pretty good voice today. I'm like, okay, me. How about let's do an Irish one, and then let's play Over the Rainbow again to wrap us up for the day. I think that sounds like a good plan. So yeah, if you love these tea parties, I'm streaming 3 times a week now doing this, which is so exciting. So Tuesday and Thursdays at 7 p.m. PST on Twitch, and then here every Sunday on YouTube, which is so exciting. Because I really love these tea parties, and I'm so glad that you love them too. All right, Tea Time fam. Let's do...
Over in Killarney, many years ago, my mother sang this song to me in tones so sweet and low. Just a simple little ditty in a good old Irish way, and I'd give the world to hear her sing this song to me today. Tooralooraloora, tooralooralai, tooralooraloora. Hush, hush, now don't you cry. Tooralooraloora, tooralooralai, tooralooraloora. That's an Irish lullaby. Oft in dreams I wander to that cot again. I feel her arms a-hugging me as when she held me then, and I hear her voice a-humming to me as in days of yore, when she used to rock me fast asleep outside the cabin door. Tooralooraloora, tooralooralai, tooralooraloora. don't you cry. Tooralooraloora, tooralooralai, tooralooraloora. That's an Irish lullaby. So that's Tooraluro, also known as Irish lullaby. Definitely an appropriate name. I am definitely Irish, and I grew up with a lot of Irish music. I was an Irish dancer, so it was just so, I just like that all this stuff has a really special place in my heart, and I thought it fit really well with all of the like reading and coziness and everything like that. So let's end off with Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It's been so wonderful, my Tea Time fam. Thank you so much for joining. I'm just gonna drop some links again in the description. So here is the Spotify playlist I was using. If you want to listen to Somewhere Over the Rainbow, I have a video from like 2 years ago that I'm putting in there right now. A link for our Discord. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. I've always loved singing. I studied it in college. And then my Patreon. If you want to support tea parties, come over and become a wizard. It's just so lovely. It's so fun. I really, really appreciate you so much, my Tea Time fam. So good. All right, so let's do some Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Yay! When all the world is a hopeless jumble, and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens a magic place. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from your window pane to a place behind the sun, just a step beyond the rain. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, blue skies. Over the rainbow, dreams really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Oh,
Everything ending on a G6 and jazz just sounds better, doesn't it? All right, friends, that's it for our tea party today. I hope that you super enjoyed it. And if you did, come join us on Twitch on Tuesday and Thursdays at 7 PST. And of course, I'll be back here next Sunday. I don't know how much reading we're gonna get done during the week on Twitch, so we may or may not still be reading The Wizard of Oz. I might go on next to my favorite Oz book, which is Ozma of Oz, which also has Dorothy. Not all of the Oz books have our main heroine, but Ozma of Oz does. And I believe that it is in this book where she has her new friends Tick-Tock, who is a like mechanical man, and Belinda? Is it Belinda, who's a talking chicken lady, who she names Bill and then finds out it's a chicken? So that's super fun. Thank you, Nico. Thank you so much. Okay, I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Oh, I hope that you do. It's been just like so lovely. And for all of you just relaxing and watching and listening, I appreciate you so much. This is totally like a lurk friendly stream to just like relax, get some work done, and get some relaxation in there. So I will see you next stream. Bye, everybody.